So hello everyone. A very good evening, good afternoon and good morning. Myself Dr. Mansi. I welcome you all to Homeopathy Musings. So today we are starting with our episode 18 of ABC of Series Season 2 with Dr. Prajakta Vaidya ma'am. Ma'am will be taking a session on in depth on the remedy Lycopodium. We have all learned Lycopodium, but then this today we'll learn something different, something more in depth about the remedy. You can access to all the previous remedies if you want on our website, that is healingharmony.in/musings. Before going forward, I would like to give a quick look at our ongoing and upcoming courses. So we have this ongoing course that is Enhance Your Practice Reversing Chronic Disease with Effective Nutritional Guidance by Dr. Nandita Shah ma'am. It's an ongoing course and there is a one session pending. If you want, you can register and access to the previous recordings. Then we have a very anticipating to our webinar by Dr. Ashok Borkar sir that is on managing pathologically advanced cases with homeopathy. The session is on tomorrow, sharp at 7 p.m. If you want, you can still register and take a benefit of this course. Then we have another psychiatric course coming up that is practical application of homeopathy in psychotic disorders by Dr. Prajakta Vaidya ma'am and Dr. Preeti Shah ma'am. There will be two sessions in the month of September, that is on the 1st and 15th of September. If you want, you can still register and it will be a great opportunity to learn from them about the psychotic disorders and how to deal with it. Then, after 3 successful versions of Basics of Contemporary Homeopathy, we are starting version 4 this year. It will be a 16-day practical course that demonstrates the integration of classical and contemporary concepts of homeopathy with our renowned team of homeopaths. It will be a great opportunity for someone who wants to learn the basics of each and every pathways by Dr. Shankar and Shalton sir, Dr. Gandhi sir, and Yakin ma'am. I would like to also give a reminder that the early bird for this course is ending very soon, that is on the 31st of August. So if you want, you can register and take a benefit of it. The course will be starting from the 6th of October. Before moving forward, I would like to give just basic hygiene factors. Please mute your lines all the while the speaker is speaking. Keep your videos on, which helps in the interaction and avoids temptation to multitask. Please raise your hand if you have any questions. Otherwise, you can put your questions or comments in the chat box and it will be addressed at the end of the session. Please do not scribble on the screen as it is very disturbing for the speaker. Please make notes, share your experiences and enjoy. If you have any questions or difficulties, you can contact us anytime on the given contact details and we will be very much happy to help you. Thank you so much. I would like to stop share and quickly hand over to ma'am.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Nice to see all of you here. And let's go ahead and learn the remedy Lycopodium. The idea of ABC of Remedies is to understand the remedy from all the aspects. It's if you see, most of it are the polycrest or the common remedies, right? But when then there is so much data available, along with that, what is the essence of that remedy? What is the importance of that remedy is something that we want to keep a focus on. Okay. So I'll just share my screen and okay, Mansi, can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So, not just for this remedy, but when we are learning any remedy, let me put some focus on how do we understand that remedy from all the aspects, right? So when I say Lycopodium, okay, so Lycopodium is a, is a particular remedy, right? But then it belongs to some kingdom, it belongs to, if it is, say it is from the plant kingdom, so it belongs to some family, it belongs to some order, then the major group of it, right? And this remedy will have all the themes or all the characteristic of those groups as well, right? So we learn these remedy as per this understanding. Okay, is it visible, the entire chart? Can you all see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it is a basic the classification and the evolution of the plants. Okay, which I want to mention it here because for this remedy it is very important, because the source of the remedy and the evolution of the remedy has a lot of importance in the materia medica, what we learn and what we know about Lycopodium. So most so the plants or the our ancestral algae which was there as the primitive ones, okay, they are broadly can divide into two segments. One, they evolved to have a plant where there were no seeds, and one group which has seeds. Okay. The group which had no seeds, they were again divided into, you can see it here, the non-vascular ones and the vascular ones. Okay. Now the non-vascular one from the no seeds, they're the most primitive. So we have, there is no cell wall. So we have the mosses here. Okay. And the no seed, but they have vascularity. They are divided into two. If you can see here, no roots. And then there was some, they were more evolved. Ones were the developed roots, stem and leaves. Now the no roots in the vascular group, our remedy family belongs to. So no roots, the Lycopodiaceae, it belongs to this part of our plant chart, or you can say the evolution of the plant. So they are very, we consider them as into ancient plants. Okay, they don't have much of roots over here. I will finish this and then we will go ahead, which will help you to not to understand only the Lycopodium, but in the future remedy from the plant kingdom. Okay. The one who developed the root from the vascular groups, we have our ferns, our equisetum over here. Now coming to the seed groups, okay, there are two main groups which are divided into a gymnosperms, which are the non-flowering plants, and the angiosperms, which has the flowering plants. Okay. The gymnosperms, which are non-flowering plants, we have our conifers like thuja, sabina, taxus, and ginkgo biloba. And most of our plant remedies which we have, they belong from these angiosperms, okay, which are the flowering plants. The angiosperms are further divided into two groups of having one cotyledon, which is monocotyledon, and the other group is of the dicotyledon. Okay. Now the monocots, we have, let's not go very into detail of it, but the monocots, as you all know, they have the remedies like lilium tig, veratrum album, and all the grains, the poils, triticum vulgaris, like our sugar cane and all of those grades into that. And the dicotyledon, most of the 90% of our remedies, they belong to dicotyledon. Okay, like all the subclasses of the plant chart given by Mikhail Yakin, if you are known. There are 6 subclasses. They all come into the dicotyledon. So our commonest remedies like pulsatilla, naxomica, belladonna, rustox, bryonia, all that comes into dicotyledons. Okay. We have studied this whole chart in a lot of details, almost for a 1 year course in our in-depth planned module where we have shared the information cases belonging to all these remedies and the differentiation. Okay. So now today we are going to talk about the Lycopodium. Okay. So what is the common name? It's also called as a club moss or the wolf foot. Okay. So Lycopodium in Latin word, lycos mean the wolf and the podium is the foot. I'll show you how the roots of the Lycopodium, like the appearance of the Lycopodium looks, and then you'll be able to understand why it is called so. Okay, it belongs to the plant kingdom. It's more the soric miasm. So soric miasm, there's a lot of positivity, hopefulness. There's a lot of enthusiasm and lot of efforts that you see. Very hopeful remedy. Family Lycopodiaceae. The parts used to prepare these remedies are the spores. Okay, and they're slow growing plants. Now, if you see the non-vascular, the vascular one, okay, the vascular tissue is a system of tube-like structure inside a plant, okay, through which the water, minerals, and the food move. And if you see in the seedless plant, Lycopodium comes here. Is a vascular from the Lycophyta as an order and Lycopodiaceae as a family. Okay, so we are going to talk about this. The seedless plant has these 3 groups: bryophytes, lycophytes, and pteridophytes. And the seeds has the cycadophytes, genotype, and conopherophytes. We are going to talk about lycophytes today. If you see an evolution point of view, okay, okay, Karishma is saying the previous slide. Okay. Can you see? Okay. Let's go. Previous, then this. Okay. Okay. This is a classification this is an ancient plant chart. Okay. Which is given by Dr. Mahesh Gandhi and Dr. Mikhail Yakir has given it, and it was further worked by Dr. Mahesh Gandhi on it. Right. So it is a part of that. Okay. Can we go ahead? So evolutionary, if you see the Lycopodium plants, okay, they were in a Carboniferous, those plants, those era, they were like these huge trees. You can see they were huge trees, almost 30 to 40-meter heights. And with the evolution, what happened? They became like this. Okay, very like a, very small, like a club moss. Okay, so with this evolution and this kind of situation that they have gone through, the whole kind of, the situation that happened, that weather changes and the drastic evolution that had happened for these plants, we see that in our, patients, we see that in manifested in the patient's feelings or the main essence. So when you see the main feeling of the Lycopodium, that they feel that they will feel very small. They feel that, I will be I will remain small, or I will kind of be at this level, which where they are in right now in the club moss in a small state. If if I stay like this in this, state, my survival will be very difficult. Okay. And they always want to go to that height. They always want to kind of grow. They always want to kind of grow at that height. So they have this main feeling that my survival, or I have to grow so big to survive. Okay, so otherwise they will be extinguished. They in a human psychology, we see that I'll be humiliated, I'll have no power, I will be nowhere if I don't grow. And that growth is related to the power. Okay, so if you see Lycopodium patient, they are very, very ambitious. They want to grow a bigger, they want to grow, in their career, in their having money, be it at any front. They have this desire to grow bigger. And for that, they will put lot of effort. Okay. And they're fully concentrated, fully kind of, dedicated to do that. And with this feeling also, they love to have power. Okay. So they need that love for power. If you see in rubrics, Lycopodium will be there to reach to a higher position, to the top rung of the ladder. Those are their ambitions. And for that, they can do anything and everything. They'll take that step, they will take those efforts. So the main feeling is this. And because they feel from that state, now they become like this, they feel that I don't have that power. Okay. And so anything that affects to losing that power, anything that is happening where their power they have to surrender, then there will be a lot of aggravation that we can see in these remedies. Okay, so this is a very, very important and essence of the Lycopodium. Then if you see in the Lycopodium, they when you put into the fire, it produces flashes. Okay, so the symptoms of the Lycopodium, they also come in like a flash. Okay, so they can be sudden and intense kind of symptoms. For example, the hunger or the sexual excitement. But the satisfaction or the satiety is also very quick. So we have that very important rubric, right? So quick and sudden. So small things can also kind of, make them feel satiated. Let's see a little bit of some video which will explain these. Mansi, just confirm when you are able to see the video. Okay?
In my area to gather, like,
You're able to hear?
Lycopodium spores. And I'm gathering Lycopodium spores because I like to make explosive balls of fire.
Keep going.
The best time to collect Lycopodium spores is after the first frost, but you have to be quick because if you wait too long, it'll be too late. When I'm looking for Lycopodium, I seek out the older, mature forests. You're looking kind of for mossy, wet areas low-lying areas with some moisture, or at the very least some shady areas. Basically, you just hunt the forest floor looking for the plant. What makes Lycopodium unmistakably identifiable is its shape. It basically looks like a little pipe cleaner. Here is a little group of Lycopodiums. So I'm going to just pluck one off and bring it up close so we can have a look at that. You'll see them anywhere 5 to 15, sometimes 20 centimeters tall. Whoops. And on the forest floor. There we go. Cool. We're looking for the spores today because the spores contain an explosive powder. So this little itty bitty spore head right here, that's what we're after today. And they're getting close. I can see that it's nice and tightly wrapped still. It hasn't opened up and released the spores yet, so this is a good time to pick. Here we have an interesting little colony of Lycopodium.
So you saw those flashes that they could make. You saw the shape, you saw the size, and from where they have come, from the so much of size difference and what we see in our patients, right? And we also saw that the spores, like how they are open, right? They are also connected to some of the feelings that we see in the Lycopodium. Okay, so let's go ahead. Give me a minute. Okay, so those kind of sudden and quick, intense symptoms that we see. They're very positive, very hopeful. The main sphere of action, which we want to remember, is the nutrition. Okay, and the nutrition, because of digestive issue, there's a lot of nutrition which is affected. Okay, the urinary organ, most in our practice, what I've seen, urinary calculi, bladder complaint, prostate enlargement with Lycopodium really helped a lot. Throat symptoms, liver, it's a very good remedy for swelling or any liver complaint that is. It's mainly the right-sided complaints which go to the left. So there is some shifting of the complaint that happened. Their conditions are very relapsing. That I have observed in the in the clinical practice also, right? And the main thing that the intellectuals, they're very keen. Like, so, even if their muscular power is very weak, but they're intellectually very keen. Why? Because intellectual is there. That is where their actual power belongs to, and they want to maintain that. So, one patient we saw with paralysis, but intellectually he was very keen, very alert. He was very, he wanted to work, he wanted to do all his intellectual work. So those kind of people, right? In terms of the physical body, when we see, we're thin, withered, and full of gas. Okay, am I audible? Mansi, if you can. Okay. Then ailments from, okay, so fear, fright, chagrin, anger, anxiety, all of it can, or any emotional kind of cause can give rise the aggravation for them. Fevers, overlifting, riding in a carriage, tobacco chewing, all can cause the aggravation for Lycopodium. Then, if you see the modalities, okay, so pressure of clothes, they cannot wear tight clothes. Warmth can also aggravate. Waking up in the morning, okay, eating little also, if they eat, they feel satious, okay. Oysters, indigestion. Then we know 4 to 8 p.m. is the main aggravation time. Wet or stormy weather. So any changes in the weather can also affect them. Pressure. for female before or from suppressed menses. Milk can be a very, very aggravating factor for Lycopodium. Vegetables like cabbages, beans, okay, pastries, they all, broad beans, they also can cause a lot of aggravation. What is with ameliorating modalities, if you see, warm drinks can help them. Food, okay, which is like some complaints better by eating, right? Cold application, motion, passing of the gas, so eructations, flatus that make them feel better. Urinating, better by urination. That we can say. And after midnight, so night amelioration. It's a very, very good remedy like a medorinum. Okay. We can think of Lycopodium. So now what are the key points? So these points, if you remember, you will have a picture of a Lycopodium. It will be either a combination of these and or here and there, but these are the main indications of the Lycopodium that you can see. They have this love for power and kind of lot of effort, and they want to do a lot of things, but they lack confidence a lot. Okay, so this lack of confidence lead to a lot of symptoms of their anxiety and anticipation. Okay, so they want to do it, but they sometimes lack self confidence. Egotism is the highest mark a Lycopodium you can see, right? There's always, a conflict will be there. There is egotism also, but there is lack of self-confidence also. So there will be kind of alternating states or conflict between these two themes of Lycopodium people. Okay, they are very sentimental, so very emotional. One of the most emotional, patients in our repertory that we can see. Very sentimental. Their memory is very poor, so they don't remember much thing, so they will make writings or mistakes in reading or writing. So all of it, like, they are egoistic, they don't want to show kind of their lack of self confidence, but their memory is also very poor, so they will make a lot of mistakes. And they are very hurried and impatient, very restless, so they want to do things, they will do that very, very hurriedly, impatiently, restless, but because of poor memory, they will kind of forget many things. So even if they're doing things, they will not be as good. They will not be like, they're doing everything. They'll forget something and still they don't want to show it to other people. That kind of a state you can see in Lycopodium. Then they desire company. So they cannot stay alone. Fear, afraid to stay alone, especially at night, so they can't sleep. They need somebody in the house. Even if they're not talking, doesn't matter. Somebody in the house they need. Then irritability, anger is a very important theme of Lycopodium. And the cowardice, so they have these all lot of ideas, and they want to do a lot of things, but to take risk, to take kind of take risky decisions, they won't be able to do. They will kind of when the thing actually situation come, they can kind of back off also. Are very lascivious in kind of their talks, in their appearance. Contradiction intolerant of, so they can't tolerate contradiction, but they can't kind of express their anger much, so they will go home and then they will talk about or crib about such people. So if you see in the rubrics, anger towards absent person of in the repertoire, you will see Lycopodium. Very conscientious about about their actions, about their responsibility, but at times you can see the opposite polarity also. They become indifferent to take up the responsibilities, and they kind of hesitate to take that in the initial time, and then they might kind of want to completely avoid it. Very ambitious to achieve the success, right? They can dictate, dominate, they can take they can take help, they can do anything to reach to that kind of a level in their career or in things that they want to do. Then the fear of taking new challenges, facing new situation, meeting new people. All this is the one of the most important theme of Lycopodium, and we see that in the children also, right? And I'll come to it why it happens like that. And the lack of confidence is so much that they feel a lot of incapability, and because of that the anticipatory anxiety develop. So sometimes it will look like a silica, that the anticipatory anxiety, they want to kind of very nervous before any presentation or exams like that. But in the Lycopodium there is this initial hesitation is there, but later when they start they perform very well. Silica will not go on the stage only. They will avoid completely going on the stage or doing the presentation, right? So in the silica the question is of capabilities, like whether I'll be able to do it or I'll not be able to do it, and what if I don't do it. So they just avoid it. But Lycopodium, they will go on the stage, but they have the feeling that I'll be laughed at, or people will talk, my presentation or my performance will not be good. Then what will happen? People will talk bad about me. That is their main fear. Hmm? So this way we can differentiate Lycopodium and silica. Then fear of, why there is this fear of undertaking new challenges, facing new situations. Because what happens this, the Lycopodium spores, okay, if you saw in that video, they were like open, and they spread airborne, okay, and they fall in various places which are completely, they get just travel with the wind, and they fall in a place which are completely new. And then they establishes their roots, they kind of become adaptable, and the main idea is to become stable and from there to grow. So there is an initial hesitation to go into the new environment, to new situation. But once they are stable, once they are established, they can bloom, right, with their efforts and with their dedication. So much we see a resemblance with the plant of how it is in the nature, right? So I think with this kind of a study, we'll be able to understand. We don't have to kind of mug off the our materia medica, right? Then one of the very grateful, people of materia medica, we can see, they will never forget that what favors you have done to them. They will always remember, what good things that you have done for them. They will always be grateful and very much affected with your gratitude. So, if you tell him that just that word, thank you, right? They will remember it for all throughout their life, and they will always talk about it. One of the patient who talks about it, that my that friend of mine or that relative might done so many when I was in difficult situation, and he just said he just did some favor to me, or he just helped me, he was just being there. And that kind of stays with their memory a lot, and they remember it over a period of time, right? And they also want to kind of return that favor, and whenever you ask them, they for them they will kind of help, right? And at the same time, if somebody who is not very grateful, or who's not showing the gratitude, they will be very angry at them, they will be very sensitive with them, and they can even with this kind of affection, with this emotionality, about sentimentality, they can even cry, and with joy or sorrow. So much of sensitivity that we see towards being grateful, and the gratitude that people offer to him. But they're afraid to speak. Okay, so you see a cowardized um, feeling in. So what is happening in the inside? They kind of feel very, less self-confident, but they are very egoistic. So they don't want to show, right? But at the same time, they can't take like like a very, very uh, uh, impulsive decisions, or they cannot take like very adventurous decisions in their life. So they kind of adapt to it or compensate it by their talks. Okay, so they will talk big things. They will boast about things, and create a facade where how nice they are or how strong they are, or in whatever manner the outer facade that we will they will put up, but internally is actually they feel weak, and then they have the fear of that people will discover that I'm not that what I'm talking about, so that kind of a conflict also you'll be able to see here. Hmm? Timidity, cowardice, fear of facing new situation, impress desire too. If you see your children, right, you how you can understand lycopodium in that very timid, okay, but uh, they have the inner shyness will be there, but they will take some time. They will, when you look at them, you will feel like they're very um, mannered child, controlled child. But slowly, you will come to know their mischievous nature, how rude they are. But outside, they will be like very, nice because they are very conscious about how they look to other people, how they, how they impress others, how nice, people are talking about them. Flattery, they need a lot of appreciation. So children in the outside, they'll be like, a very controlled way, very behave nicely and all of that. And at the home front, where they are completely dependent and somebody who can take their domination, they will be very bossy, very dominant nature with them. I'll talk about one of the case in that, and I remember one child case also about the entire based on this kind of scenario. We'll talk about it little later. So if you see the children who are impoliteness in children, you see lycopodium as only remedy. Okay, mind impressed desires to remedy, one of it is lycopodium. So you'll see that as a picture of lycopodium actually. Physical concomitant, what you will see? Dilated nostrils, lot of flatulence, premature senility. So very good remedy for baldness, alopecia, graying of hair, and enlarged prostate. Their hurriedness in eating and drinking, ill effects of overeating, then cracks on the heel, and desire for warm and food and drinks, and also for sweets. They are the more commonly seen physical characteristics of this remedy. And if you see rubrics point of view, the most important rubrics of lycopodium is the confidence, want of self, egotism, sentimental, cowardice, fear of people, contemptuous, hard for subordinates, and agreeable, pleasant to superiors or people he has to fear of. Dictatorial, command, talking with air of, dictatorial power, love of, fear of being alone, fear of undertaking anything, hurried while eating, timidity appearing in public, but they are capable to do it, right? Weeping thanked when, weeps ungratefulness at. All these is very important of lycopodium. Fear of reaching to a destination. So they are unable to reach their destination is one of the very important fear and delusion that we see. We see that in the dreams also. We know that anticipatory anxiety when time is set. Also, they want to reach to that, destination, that higher destination, and they have that fear internally that they will be not able to do that. These are some other rubrics where lycopodium is a very important remedy, and it's single rubrics also I've taken. If you can see here, discontented in the morning. They are very discouraged, but it will be very silent and they quiet. They will not talk about it. The dreams which are very anxious, vivid, anxious of moving, a lot of activities. Then this is a very important, dream which is there in the Nair repertory. The dreams, trees of growing on fence without ground under them. So this is the main theme of lycopodium, which we see in the nature also, right? they grow, even if that the tendency or desire to grow on, even if there is the fundamental is weak, they want to kind of, grow on it, desire. They were the first plant who want to kind of stand tall. They were the first when in the initial time when there was only algae, which were there, where there was, the spreading of the plant were mainly the mosses were horizontal. They were the first one to stand tall. So those are that kind of a dreams or desires and ambitious nature that we see here. Dreams of work he's forced to do. Then dullness after being in open air. The envy, so jealousy, envy, qualities of others at. Fear of death after waking up. Haughty, pride, imperious. So very arrogant type, in their talks or in their way of behavior. Haughty, pride, stiff, pretentious. So they pretend a lot that they're being haughty. Holding or being held desire on waking. So they need that kind of assurance. They need a kind of a, support, but they're very haughty to show that, right? And mind impolite in children. These are also one of other rubrics which are important. Okay. Then in the Lycopodium, there is some form of aluminum content is there. And so there is a lot of similarity to alumina as a remedy that we see, because there are alternating symptoms like constipation and diarrhea. Then they have paralytic effects, soft stool pass with difficulty, lot of dryness which is present, burning pains are there, falling of hair, right? Old looking kind of appearance. So there are a lot of similarities with alumina as a remedy that we see. And if you see in terms of the difference, they look like we did it for silica. The Nux vomica as a remedy also come very, very close to Lycopodium. With they share this irritability, impatience, and dictatorial nature like Nux vomica. But if you see, if there are circumstances or situation where they have to kind of take a risky decision, then Lycopodium will not take that, because they are very covered inside, and that is one of the very important theme of Lycopodium, which goes against Nux vomica, because Nux vomica, they belong to the sixth subclass in the plant chart. Okay, Asterids. They are from Loganaceae family. So six subclass or a six superclass, as per Dr. Shankaran's superclass concept. Nux vomica belongs to sixth superclass. So it belongs to the personalities who are like king type, So they are very, very much oriented for power, dogmatic. So they are very audacious, very rash, adventurous, risk taker. But if you see Lycopodium, they will be exactly opposite. So they will be scared, and they can even, during that difficult time, they can even take a back step. That is how you can differentiate. If you see in the childhood, Nux vomica children will be very, extrovert, expressive. They'll be more impulsive in the childhood. But in Lycopodium, you will see that they will be more shy, introverted, right? And very cautious and calculative, that we will see in Lycopodium. And Nux vomica will be very ardent and daring. So that is how you can, differentiate. Then it can also be, differentiated with aurum, because it looks like, responsibility as a theme. But aurum again belongs to the sixth row of the periodic table. It comes into the sixth superclass. Sixth, the theme of that is also similar like Nux vomica, So it looks like that, but then they lack to take that responsibility and fulfill that completely, right? Lycopodium belongs to the fourth superclass. Okay, as per the theme of the superclass concept is concerned. What is importance of the fourth superclass? They are mainly concerned with the stability and security. Okay, so stability of security, in the context of the plant kingdom that we see. So a lot of, they can talk about home, money, they can talk about, the health, they can talk about how the stability and security is important for them. But there is always this feeling of ambition to desire to, grow big. Now to share some case example, it's a very classic example of Lycopodium that I've seen, and almost like I'm seeing this patient since last almost 4 years, okay, and lot of complaints which has, okay, so he's not the one who will kind of, take the continuous kind of a treatment, okay. Suddenly he will call and suddenly he'll say, I'm just coming, I'm coming, I have this complaint, please, if you can stop scribbling on the screen. I think
Hello, Dr. Hitin Safi. Please, it's a request to stop scribbling.
Okay, let me share it again. Yes. So 52-year old, okay, he's an LIC manager. So he's into this office or this field since many years. One office he's been working almost for 25 years. Okay. And he's grown like from a lower kind of a position, he's grown to this manager position in a very few months, or very short time. So that kind of work, that kind of a dedication, workaholic type. So his wife is also our patient. So she will call us before he will come to the clinic, and she will say, how his behavior is completely different. She will call and tell us that, doctor, when he comes in front of you, he will not talk about all these things, but I just want to tell you how he is at home. So she will say that, he's very, very, very fastidious. He wants everything, very in order. He's very impatient. If I don't do it, then he will scream, shout. He's very, very dominating. He's very kind of, he can even get angry, can abuse me, and he wants at that moment only. So very, very hurried, impatient, restless, dominating kind of a person. But when I meet him, he is completely, he'll be very nice talking to me. He will be very, very polite. He will talk about his own kind of achievements, that how much he works for uh, um, uh, for 10 hours, 12 hours, 14, 15 hours when he was young. He used to work like that. Very, very talk about that, I've done business of almost 3.5 cr, and it's just growing, and he kind of had initially, right, when I saw him, so there were a lot of phases in which we were treating. So initially he had issues of digestive issue. So he had something outside, and he kind of had food infection type, and a lot of indigestion with lot of bloating and heaviness in the stomach. And there were a lot of passing of the flatus, passing of the gas from, eructations, loud eructations, and completely drained in terms of his energy, right? Then the typical symptoms of digestive issue. Then that time also Lycopodium helped him. Then he came for the psoriasis, that he had it on the palms, especially only on the palms he had, and soles also a little bit, mainly on the palms. And we saw that the same state which was there present, and that also kind of helped him with the Lycopodium. Recently I saw he had kind of a paralytic kind of a symptom, but he was still talking about about his work, and how Currently he's going to get retired, but before that also how he wants a promotion and how he's working towards it, and because of this kind of symptoms that he's not able to do it. So that kind of a state, he's got better with lycopodium. So all these phases that I've seen, but it really helped that patient a lot. Another case, so if you see extremities, eruption, psoriasis, back of hands, fingers, hands, palms, lycopodium is present. Right? Apart from all that, what we know. So is given a very good result for it. Another case, what I remember is about the child. It was a child of one of the doctors for the acute complaint. And she gave us the history on the phone initially because he had fever, he had indigestion issues with the fever, and the symptoms of lycopodium of the digestive issues were there. And then with the history, most of it, all those characteristic and keynote symptoms were there. We had given him lycopodium. It really helped that child a lot. And then, after 2, 3 days, we called. The way she described us was, mainly at a level of how impolite and how rude he is with the younger one, and how he wants very, dominating, how he's very, very angry and kind of abusive also at home. And when he goes outside, he's completely different. And she had kind of sent us the video of it also. Then when we called him at clinic, and he was like completely controlled type of a child who was taking even time to talk. So we saw that it gives you a picture like a carcinoid who's very controlled, very, very obedient, and wants to show or impress you, that how nice I am. He will talk nicely, greet you like that. But slowly you will come to know with, of course, the attendant, the mother who is giving the exam, the things which are happening at home, and now what you see. So completely two pictures that you will be able to see. Another case which I remember is that is also a case of a paralysis. That guy he was also around 50 years old, and he got the right-sided paralysis. Lot of like weakness, losing the power, almost the movement was affected. But intellectually, his main problem is that my mind is very good. I want to work, but because of this, there's a lot of fear, lot of self-confidence is affected, and I'm unable to go out. So I'm just being at home and doing, my work, which I'm not able to do it. But I want to do it. I want to grow. His main job was he used to work with a company, and he was mainly the marketing sales executive. So his main work was of to sell things, or to talk a lot about his work. And that was because of the speech was also affected, and the entire right side. We said, I want to work, I want to grow, I want to grow at and get promotions and work very hard for it, but I'm unable to do it because of this. And for him also, the lycopodium worked very well. And with that, the self-confidence kind of, came back and started going out. He kind of started feeling very nice in terms of the energy, in terms of his physical complaints. And whenever he comes to of course, he referred many patients, but whenever he comes, he will be, he will bring something, he'll bring some prasad, he'll bring some flowers, or he'll bring something or other whenever he comes to the clinic. So that kind of gratefulness, that kind of, returning the favor, that kind of remembering what we have done or what he got from us, he remembers that. And every time, it's not that, one time, it's like every time when he comes or when he talks to you, he will say that. So that kind of um, individuals we are looking at. And this is what I had to share for Lycopodium. It's one of the very, very great remedy, helps a lot, and you will see a lot in your practice. Yeah, I'm okay to take any questions if there are. Yeah, difference between intelligence of sulfur and intellectually keen of Lycopodium. Okay. Yes. So if you see sulfur, it it belongs to first of all, it is from the mineral kingdom, right? Mineral kingdom, row 3. So row 3, the main issues of row 3, what we see is about identity. Okay. So the identity, care, nourishment, relationship, um, and food. These are the main theme of the row 3. In sulfur, what we see is they are on the right side, okay, right side of the periodic table. So their identity is, they can get the identity in form of uh, their recognition. Okay, so they also need the appreciation, but that is mainly to be in the spotlight, to the by feeling of I know everything. So their main intellectually oriented feeling is that I know everything, I'm better than others, and I can do anything. And more of a foolish type of a perception about their identity, showing off a lot. But in contrast to Lycopodium, you will see main the fundamental themes of the stability, security, and ambitious nature. Along with, along with what we discuss right now, the element of pride, the element of I know everything, identity issues will be more um in the sulfur than the Lycopodium. But Lycopodium is also called as a vegetable sulfur. So they resemble a lot, but there are some fundamental differences. Can Lycopodium present without any gastric symptoms and predominantly allergic condition? Yes. Recently, I saw one patient. He didn't have much of gastric complaint. He had urinary complaint. Okay, he was here for urinary stones. One of our staff only referred, and we started giving Lycopodium, but he had a lot of itching also along with it. A lot of itching, very a lot of redness, intolerable itching, and it was more when he woke up in the morning and need to scratch. It used to make him very irritable, and he was unable to concentrate on the work, and that also kind of helped with Lycopodium. In which superclass? Lycopodium is in the fourth superclass, where we discuss the stability, security, the main theme. Okay, they have the issues of row 4. If we consider the themes of a superclass in terms of the periodic table is concerned. Yes, the how can we differentiate Lycopodium and Thuja based on hiding and secretiveness and identity confusion? So if you see Lycopodium, Thuja belongs to, in terms of the superclass, they belong to the fourth superclass. They have very common themes of the superclass 4. But in Lycopodium, what we discuss in Thuja, what is the main essence? The main essence of Thuja, it comes in the conifers, right? And their main feeling is of being brittle, okay? And the feeling of being falling, feeling of their evolutionary concept is of falling, right? And kind of destroying. So they have this main feeling of brittleness. They have main feeling of, I will fall. They will not take much of the medicines because they feel that it is very harmful. So that is the fundamental difference that we see in the essence of the remedy. What should be its potency and reputation for paralysis cases, considering the fact that it is a very deep acting remedy? Yes. So in my cases, I started with 200, followed by LM. So when we need, in cases like where there is a chronic chronic complaints are concerned, and we need maybe some boost for our vital force, LM potencies have worked very well. I hope it answers all your questions. Anybody else?
Hello, participants. If you have any questions, you can put it in the chat box or you can unmute yourself and ask ma'am.
Okay, then if there are no questions, then I hope what I've shared will be helpful. Why lyco aggravation between 4 to 8 p.m.? I think it's very subjective, so no particular reason for it. At least I don't know that. Kinnari, I have not much idea about this Lycopodium scheme. Maybe we can look out and then I can share that with you. Yes, Lyco child, very, very important. I think we discussed that, but many patients I have prescribed Lycopodium for child. The bad effects of pneumonia, any right-sided complaint, lung infection, liver complaints, all of that. Lycopodium has really given wonderful results, wonderful remedy, and we see that in practice a lot. No, I don't. Like it is, of course, the Lycopodium, there is this cycle, this calcarea, Lycopodium and sulfur. But I don't like just blindly follow it. If there are indications which can come, then we can think about Lycopodium and in the kind of a sequence. But the state has to be there present. I just don't blindly follow it. How to use Lyco in acute anxiety case? Any keynote? Anxiety cases a lot. Any keynote is basically when the time is set, when they need a lot of specifically for the exam or any presentation or a preparation, something which is important that is coming up, and they will have some physical complaints of IBS or that kind, which is very prominent in Lycopodium that I've seen. It's a very, very good remedy for anxiety. For Alzheimer's, see what I have seen as a child in Alzheimer's, they have this more than the similarity with Lyco. I have seen more of a similarity with Lycosis for Alzheimer's. They will be very suspicious. They will be kind of very talkative. So they will, in Alzheimer's, there is this rubric called telling the plain truth. So they will just tell everything to you. What it is right, wrong. One of the child used to tell me what used to happen at home. If there are any fights or anything, he'll just come and blurt it out. So those kind of talkative, suspicious, plus kind of they look like a lachesis kind of a child, but they're very foolish type. So I've seen that foolish snakes. I've thought of more of Alzheimer's at that time. Lycopodium will be more, you'll be very nervous, shy in the initial time, and slowly you will come to know about it. it is recommended for umbilical hernia. Yeah, if the state matches, if the other the theme essence matches, then we can think of Lycopodium. See, there are a lot of specifics that you will see, right? And then we tend to tempt to also kind of use it. Sometimes want to if there are any cases which are not giving you result, or if you think that okay, this is the main important pathology, but I've seen in the practice it just not work that way. That if you just give that on the basis of it, if you go at a deeper level and try to find whatever it is there, anything which is peculiar, anything which is kind of characteristic, and then you try to see the patient from all the aspects and then give the remedy, then definitely there is a change in the pathology, is my experience, rather than giving any specific remedy. I would recommend that. Anything else? Questions are always good, because then I know that you all are thinking, you all are giving a thought of whatever we discuss right now. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. You will have the recording of this session also available, and the previous ABC of Remedies on our website. So if you want, you can register and get all the recordings. Plus, you will have some hand note of all these, the important theme, the desktop, you can say, which will highlight the important themes of that remedy, and it is there for all the remedies that we did in the past. Okay, and next month we are going to do that every month. So next month we'll meet again. Till that time, you see it again. If you have any queries, questions, you can all write to us. Asmita is there, Mansi is there. Okay, yeah, we'll share a YouTube link. Yes. In cases it is possible that we prescribe Lycopodium in potency along with mother tincture. I have not done that. I've done with LM potency, not with the mother tincture yet. Okay, any last thoughts, feedbacks, questions? Okay, thank you. Unless undoubtedly indicated, the treatment of chronic diseases should not be commenced with Lycopodium. It is best to give first another antisoric remedy. Please explain. I think it just means the indication, what I understand is, if the indication of the Lycopodium is a deep acting remedy. So if there are proper indication, then only it's start with that remedy. It is what I understand. Okay then. Thank you all of you for joining. See you next month. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the wonderful session. And thank you so much, participants, for joining. If you have any questions after this session, also, you can again go through the recordings and the handouts. And if you have any questions, you can write to us. Thank you so much.